It is April 22nd, 2020, the Wednesday Night Wars. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I look at the screen and see Matt Morgan, and I just immediately start losing it. Matt's smiling because he's in the afterglow from the Rajback experience on Monday Night Show.
What would you fans at home watching this, really think if that's how we open the show? Like, people do that, by the way, and they're phony.
We're so happy to be here. I mean, most of the time, actually, I'll say, Matt, you are in a remarkably good mood when we start the show, given everything you have going on with your city, with your family. And I mean, even before this crisis happened, I can imagine how long the days you're pulling are. And the fact that you sit through all of this wrestling and show up here, still even with half a smile on your face, is a testament to your good attitude.
Thanks, brother. Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. So tonight, me, Matt Morgan, Justin LaBar, we have to travel in the wake. We have to follow a Monday Night Show and Rajback when Ryback was on the show. Which, what did you think of that? What did you think of that, Matt?
Really quick, can I just say something? Should we have made fun of Raj more or something?
Yes,
it wasn't
100%.
Okay, so that's what a lot of fans are telling me, and I'm like, I did throw in there, Raj, you jealous that Ryback didn't buy you any luggage for your wish list? Little things here and there, but there was no space to get any of this stuff in.
Yeah, and Raj felt like, one, you and Ryback together is great because, I mean, you have such similar yet different viewpoints. I loved when you were a guest on this podcast. I was telling Justin before we started, watching Raj was acting like the way you act the first time you bring your girlfriend to hang out with you and your friends. That's how Raj was acting on the podcast.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
100%. That is the best analogy. Yes, and folks, when I keep telling you about Raj's when he gets red-faced, right? Go back and watch the start of the show when Ryback gets introduced. Watch proud Raj's face in all of his glory.
So who won? Who went over? Was it the Rajback or the Jew print? Who won?
I think it was the Matt, and I think it was the surprise where Matt and Ryback just rode off into the sunset while Raj and I sat here politely.
Yeah, we definitely ate up way too much oxygen.
But it was good, and we'll have him back, and I'm sure it'll get a little looser and more comfortable the more that we just podcast with him. But no, I thought it was good. I was glad to thank him greatly for doing the show. And we went way easy on Raj. Next time, no way.
But one of the fans tweeted the other day, like, "Hey, you guys, there wasn't enough shenanigans." One of our best fans said that, and I was about to reply, but I didn't. I'll say it here instead. I wanted to save it for this and say, I would argue Ryback taking Vince McMahon out to the frigging woodshed and back again was pretty darn shenaniganish. Dude, yeah. He put the leather to Vince about the formula that they have there, people not getting insurance. And we've heard that before, but not from very rarely do you hear from a star of his magnitude. That dude was a main event WWE wrestler, no matter what way you want to slice it, whether you're a fan of him or not, he was. And just recently, it usually takes guys about 10 years before they start talking like that, because they always think they're going to want to come back. And he's just like, yeah, I'm going to do what I want to do.
He's got his own business, man. He's got his own stuff. He is not beholden. And I think that's refreshing. You see so many men and women in this business that have unresolved issues. And I've said this to you before, Matt. You are not a guy that you don't carry around that baggage, and Ryback doesn't either. But you see so many interviews with former WWE talent, and they've still got this thing where it's like, why doesn't Daddy love me? Why won't the old man accept me? Yep. They just want approval.
Very true. And when I got released, Johnny Ace was very specific. He said, don't burn the bridge. I remember being like, what? Don't talk negatively about the company.
Yeah.
And I was high. I was using drugs at the time still, right? I was fully in my addiction at this point. And I remember being like, yeah, right. Good luck with that. My first interview, I ripped into them. And it was very immature of me in retrospect. It was totally me, doing what a lot of guys used to do, which is just bury the damn company because you're frigging butthurt that you got released, essentially. And I was no different. But over time, when I talk negatively about it now, it's not negatively about the company. It's generally always about the show. No offense, the creative team at times.
Yeah, no, I think it's the thing where, as you move on from it, you get peace with it. But you see, there's a lot of performers that don't ultimately, and that's got to be a hell of a burden to carry around with you, the shadow of your time on the main roster.
Definitely.
But what do they say, Matt? You either let your past define you, or your past defines who you become. And I think a lot of people don't take that latter road.
Yep.
And
if anything, you use it as a platform. That's a mega platform to use. You know what I mean? It really, truly is, especially with our youth. It's huge. I have every kid's attention like you wouldn't believe. Just from the introduction of former WWE superstar, boom, they're at the edge of their seat. So I'm talking about addiction and anti-bullying rallies that I do, or special education conversations, you know what I mean? And things like that. Trust me, I get their attention. I'll throw up a highlight video before I come in, and they're pumped by the time I walk into that room. And I wouldn't have had that if it wasn't for wrestling. You know?
No, I think that's the thing. You got to use the platform and do something positive with it. Thank you to David 3X, who's noticing I got a new hairstyle. Here's the deal. I broke down yesterday when the temperatures got into the 80s in Northern California, and I was like, I've got to get this hair off of my head, off of my face. And I'm really surprised. We'll transition this into an ad in a second, but I have to thank my wife for helping me with the back. Justin, you shaved your head as well?
I had my wife do it as well. Yep.
I'll tell you, man. Matt, how are you dealing without a haircut? How are you getting by?
I did get by. Fuck, I did.
Oh, you got a little there. Yeah, just not the top. I was going to do that. See, the problem is my hair is really thick, so it like poofs up. So I used to have my hair shaved really high on the sides of the back, but then it became like Sideshow Bob on the top. Like just the longer it gets.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, the fluffier it gets.
7-foot Vanilla Ice.
Hey, you're close enough. Although Vanilla Ice is what, Miami, A1A, Beachfront Avenue. So tonight's podcast is brought to you by our friends at Manscaped. If you are bored in the house, and so bored, why not mess around a little bit with a new style, with a new cut, with a new do, with a new look? And I'm not talking about the hair on your head. Talking about down below. Our sponsor today, Manscaped, is here to make sure your balls are smooth while you or your partner are playing with them. That's actually in the copy. I didn't just come up with that. Manscaped. Yeah, they use the word balls a lot. They're big fans of it. I thought I liked the word balls, but man, what's your favorite slang for the testicular area, Matt Morgan?
Dude, the balls are nuts.
Nuts is good. Nothing like
grapefruits.
I just always think of Anthony Michael Hall in Weird Science. Kicked him in the nuts. The family jewels. Anyhow, Manscaped. So Manscaped is the only men's brand that is dedicated to below the waist grooming, and they promote clean hygiene when it comes to shaving your balls thanks to their Lawnmower 3.0. While you're probably looking for new things to do at home, why not make manscaping a part of your routine? I'm telling you, yesterday, now I have 2 Manscaped razors. I'm not like Justin LaBar, who just goes Rambo with one. And I've got one for up top, one for down below. And let me tell you, I may not have burned any fat or lost any pounds during this quarantine, but I lost a lot of hair yesterday, and I'll just let you use your imagination as to how Manscaped helped me accomplish that task yesterday. Manscaped is forever changing the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0. It's precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with your new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. It's waterproof, cordless, it's a body trimmer, and it has they've got a ton of other liquid formulations in that packet to round out your manscaping routine. I really like their body wash. You've been using that the last couple days as well. And this third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to prevent manscaping accidents. Millions of balls are about to be nick-free thanks to Manscaped advanced skin-safe technology. And in that perfect package, you'll also find the Manscaped crop preserver that's anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. We're living in the future, folks. You're probably sitting.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Get it. It's so good. Get it, guys.
And I'm gonna tell you, Matt, you're so tall. If you're not deodorizing down there, people are like, "What's that smell? What's going on?" Because you're like your bikini area is like eye level with some people. That's how tall you are. So Manscaped.
To be fair, you use it when you come out. If you're the directions, you use it when you come out of the shower. Now, if you have the time when you're sweating up a storm to run inside your house and put that stuff on, you got bigger fish to fry down there and not taking a shower.
Yeah, so you're probably sitting on the couch with your hand on your balls anyhow, so you might as well keep them smooth as eggs and smelling fresh. Somebody showed up at work in a cubicle. Now they're working from home, but still they put in the time, effort, and energy and collected a paycheck to say, might as well keep them smooth as eggs and smelling fresh. Just visualize that. Subscribe to the Perfect Package.
Two of those are oxymoronic.
Well, yes.
So really quick, Manscaped, let me write it. I will do an amazing job at it. Eggs and fresh are oxymoronic. But continue.
Well, unless they could be fresh eggs. But anyhow, subscribe to the Perfect Package. You'll get a new replacement blade refill for your lawnmower trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, which is great. And make sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. And for a limited time, subscribers get not one, but 2 free gifts. The Shed Travel Bag, that's a $39 value add. Add the patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped boxer briefs, which I have a pair of, and they are oh so comfortable.
Yes.
They're really good. They're really good. I'm going to buy some more of those. I'm going to throw out my old underwear and switch to the Manscaped boxer briefs. I love them.
It's a soft pillow for your balls all day long.
There you go. So this is indeed the perfect package for your perfect package, and you'll get 20% off plus free shipping with the code WINC at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor. Always use the right tools for the job. That's 20% off and free shipping. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code WINC at manscaped.com. Save 20%. Get it shipped free. Manscaped.com. Use that promo code WINC and make playing with your balls the best part of your day. Thanks, Manscaped, for I read this. It's now out there in the world. So thank you, Manscaped, for sponsoring the podcast. And there's the code on screen. 20% free shipping. Manscaped.com. Code WINC. Justin, you've been having any adventures in body grooming aside from the top of your head?
No, I love it. I got the like I said, the out of the shower deodorant. The no shaving. I love the boxers. I love the LED light that is on the Manscaped lawnmower. It is very helpful when you're getting in some weird spike-ly angles you're trying to shoot at. I
thought you were saying like I'm gonna do the lines, like I'm gonna do some pubic region and like put the zigzag lines in there. I'm gonna get in there and do some art on it. Xavier Leone super chat saying Glenn's haircut is fresh AF fire. Seriously, let me tell you, this is probably the best testimony I can give to how powerful yet safe these clippers are. My hair is very thick. Every other razor I've ever owned, electric, whether it's body hair or cutting my own hair, I have to go over it 20 times to get it fully smooth, to catch all the hairs, to get it clean. With this, no lie, I did everything in about 15 minutes. And it was simple. It was easy. I mean, like I spent probably more time cleaning up after myself than I did actually getting all the hair off of my head and my body. So yes, Manscaped, we thank them for sponsoring the podcast.
Thank you.
Yes. Matt Morgan is back.
I didn't like my, hey, sorry fans. I did not like my camera angle after watching our show back the other time. So I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, yes.
There we go.
Jay Lane saying that I ripped off Brock's hairdo. I was afraid, Matt, I cut it shorter because I was afraid if it was really long, I was like, this is going to look too much like Matt. It's going to look like I'm doing a weird single white female thing with Matt Morgan. And it's going to be very uncomfortable.
Matt needs to go bop, bop, bop. I'm too scared to do it though.
Yeah, right. Because then it becomes like that I Love Lucy episode with trimming the Christmas tree. And the next thing you're just shaving your head entirely.
Yes. That won't be a good look.
Yes.
Yeah, at least.
I mean, Jasim, $2 wants to know if we can get a Johnny Ace impression from Justin. Is that in your repertoire?
It's in everybody's repertoire. You could do it.
I got to tell you, my voice used to be a lot higher when I didn't use the Manscaped. But now these are great balls. These are Johnny Ace's balls, Manscaped balls. How do you feel about that, Matt Morgan?
Don't, Glenn. Glenn, don't. Glenn, just let it sit. Let everybody across America watching this right now cringe in unison.
Yes. Okay.
No prep here. No prep. I was off the
I'll give it to you. Listen, kid, don't burn any bridges with this company. All right, we got you set up in New Japan. You're going to be a freaking monster there. You're going to make great money. People are going to forget about that character. And when you come back a year from now, it'll be all under water under the bridge. Oh, Johnny, with all due respect, it might be water under the bridge for you guys, but there's this thing called, I don't know, my family that I need to support. So, yeah, this wasn't my idea. I was just going along with, what Mr. Eggman wanted me to come up with, what he came up with. I know, but it's just never good. It's never a good look to, bury the company, especially if you want to come back. Johnny, I never said I wanted to come back. Oh, well, then, okay. Good luck in your future endeavors, kid. There you go.
Yeah, it's always funny when
context.
It's always great when people are trying to explain to you how something isn't that big of a deal when for you it's a life or death decision. The best advice I ever got from our bands back when I was doing music, our attorney also repped like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jewel, a lot of other acts. And I would ask him for advice and he would say, well, look, man, this is what I think. But he's like, I deal with hundreds of careers a year. Like you've got one career that you're in charge of. So it's not about what I think, it's about what feels right to you. And that's always what stuck with me when taking things with a huge grain of salt when people try and put it in perspective for you.
What did that lawyer cost you? Good God, he's got some high profile talent.
He was gonna just make 3% of basically everything that we made. Straight percentage off the top.
Listen, 3% for Jewel is a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's why they do it. I mean, because, they're just working on the numbers game. It's only something like 1 out of every 20. It used to be 1 out of every 20 bands actually made money in music. Now it's got to be like absurd what the odds are. But anyhow, we have a lot to talk about tonight with NXT and AEW. Do we want to talk about the top story before we get into these recaps? I know people like the recaps, but this Drake Maverick thing is I know it's not sitting right with a lot of people out there. I feel like it's a very divided reaction. Yeah. I feel like we should talk about this first. So Drake got cut last Wednesday from the WWE roster with talents like Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, Heath Slater, Eric Young, Rowan, Sarah Logan, No Way Jose, Mike Chioda, Mike Kanellis, Maria Kanellis, EC3, Aiden English, Leo Rush, Primo, and Epico. Now, aside from Aiden English and Leo Rush, there's no one else from the Cruiserweight division who was affected directly by these cuts. I guess maybe Eric Young, although he kind of was all, on many rosters. Yeah. But anyhow, Drake cut that promo last Wednesday about how he was still competing in the Cruiserweight tournament, and these might be his last matches ever. Now, this was a very heartfelt promo. You could tell he was teary-eyed during it, but I said to Justin LaBar before we got on the air last week, and I didn't say it on the air because I didn't want to be a hater or just put out wild conspiracy theories, but I said to Justin, like, do you think this might be a work? Because doesn't it seem weird that they're letting him go and they're still putting him on TV? And, hey, I was cut and this is terrible, but watch those 3 matches, folks, because I'm going to give it my all. Like, it was straddling the line. Something didn't sit right with me. So today he was a guest on WWE's The Bump doing an interview about his upcoming performance in the tournament. Triple H doing an interview talking about Drake's going to take this opportunity and make the most of it. And then tonight they had it in the promo before his match. So it is a round robin tournament. He did lose tonight, so he's not out of it. But Justin, what do you think about how much they're taking this idea that he's not with the company, but he might be essentially earning a spot back with his performance in this Cruiserweight tournament?
Well, it's certainly not something common and traditional we see, especially when you figure it would be one thing if his release was just his release by himself. It'd be one thing if last Wednesday he was the only name they said that they were releasing. Then you could, okay. But the fact that his name was part of a very bloody Wednesday, both for talent and for employees in response to this pandemic, that's what's interesting. As soon as we saw he's released, all the entire social media and WWE world, we figured, okay, well, the Cruiserweight stuff must already be taped. And so they're just going to air it because they already have it in the can, and that's that. But no, the match we saw tonight was live. It happened live. So he didn't win it. He didn't win. But it is interesting. It's not a typical situation that we would see here. The interview and really kind of just it's not like they just put him out there and just said, okay, hopefully people forget about this. They're really highlighting him. And remember, this is a company that just a few weeks ago pulled Roman Reigns out of a world title main event in WrestleMania and replaced him with no explanation, just expecting people to understand the situation of the times. They could have very easily just pulled Drake Maverick and just replaced him with another cruiserweight and moved on, but they didn't, and they didn't for a reason, and that's what's interesting about this.
Yeah, I mean, they could have not cut him. Right. I mean, again, in the cruiserweights, there's a lot of cruiserweights that are still under contract that were not affected by this. Now, Leo Rush, you could say that, he's had a turbulent run with the company. So maybe there's some other reason why he would have been subjected to these cuts. There were people that Mike and Maria Kanellis who got Mike asked for his release. And Mike had done stuff in the cruiserweight division. But just to show you when this match started, I have to highlight this because I thought this was really interesting. Leo Rush tweeted saying, either way this goes, it's kind of effed up with this match between Drake and Jake Atlas tonight.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a great response to that. That really is really well said.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know. Like, I'm rooting for Drake Maverick, the performer. And
who isn't?
I guess the silver lining to this would be that maybe, he cut that promo and WWE responded to it and they're taking the ball and running with it. But I think with so many people out of work right now, so many talent that got cut, I don't know. This just seems a little insensitive. When Heath Slater was doing the "I've got kids, I need this job" storyline, they didn't issue a release saying he wasn't with the company. Like, we knew he was signed. We knew this was kayfabe. And I just feel like this is a little insensitive given the current situation and how much people are tied up in what's going on right now.
I think it depends. Everyone's going to have a different opinion on it. If it is a work, I hope, honestly, for his sake, it is. I think, honestly, out of all those talents, for my money, he is the most versatile. You could do the most with him. I really feel that way. And there's some really great talents that were released.
Yeah.
A lot of friends of mine too, for that matter. But Drake is really versatile, and he eats, sleeps. They all eat, sleep, and drink the business, obviously. But I do believe those tears were real. I do believe he was legit shoot released. Just giving my opinion. I don't know one way or the other, but I'm just guessing that WWE may have seen that video and be like, holy crap, like, we just totally tore up this kid's world. And maybe it got pulled on their heartstrings. I don't know. I hope that's what happened. I hope he gets signed.
Yeah, I also wonder if they he was part of the release from, as Raj would say, main roster talent cuts for budget purposes, and maybe Triple H going, and he's making whatever money he's making, and maybe Triple H saying, look, if I can get the guy to take a pay cut, WWE, Raw and SmackDown really wasn't using him from in an in-ring standpoint. They, he did a lot of comedy skits with the stuff at his wedding, and he did the 24/7, chasing him around.
He shot stuff at his wedding.
But so maybe Triple H is able to say, look, if I can get him to take a pay cut, can I keep him on the NXT roster and use him there, and let's actually utilize the guy? And maybe that's where this is spun. I don't know, but
he's not somebody you release. Just so you guys know, like people like Funaki, just because you're not a main event star doesn't mean you're bulletproof. Like it's not just main event stars that are bulletproof from getting releases. It's those guys that the locker room loves. Like WWE events especially will go to bat and back and forth 10 times over to keep them employed because they're good for that locker room. Therefore, they're good for their business. Because a happy locker room, a jovial, a laughing locker room, they that's very important to them. Still to this day, it is. While they do have a very positive and very good locker room, that dude's like the king of it as far as making people laugh and making them smile. Everybody loves that guy, and he loves them back. He is a little different in that regard, and that's why I was really shocked they released him, because he's much more important than fans at home think he is, just because they see the stuff he does on TV. Stuff he did do on TV, by the way, he got over. He got over that ridiculous title.
Yeah, the way Drake, Matt, Drake is a funny guy, but apparently everybody that's there in the locker room loves him, and he's jovial, and there's a lot of things. A lot of the description about him, about how he is, and about how he's respected, but he keeps it light. A lot of it is similar to all the stories you hear about how Owen Hart was, and how that like that role in the locker room, just being able to make people laugh. He's respected. He's he'd fight for any of the boys in terms of on matters of respect and
Yes.
Who's owed what. So I mean, I hope it. I mean, again, we all hope that he has a job there and he has a platform, because he is very talented. It's just the timeline in this is interesting. It's unusual.
And if this was a work from, there's another reason I don't think it was a work from the beginning, because he started putting out his indie stuff, which is a complete different character from the one he plays on WWE TV. Completely different. In fact, the show he aired, his first one he aired, I wrestled on that show in England.
Oh wow!
It's my first time meeting him, and backstage, I'm watching through the curtain, turning to the rest of that roster, going, "This kid he's a effing star. Who is this freaking kid? Ask anybody, even ask him." And from that moment on, I kept in contact with him. I took all of his YouTube videos, along with Young Bucks and other talents, and would ram them down Terry Taylor. in his office and make him watch them. And he was really good. It wasn't until Bischoff got to TNA, finally, would somebody like watch it and actually take it and make use of those videos. Because that dude's been cutting YouTube videos for years.
Yeah.
These hilarious home skits that he does. And oh my God, he's so talented. But that's a different character that I was going to say that he plays. I still think, I really do think that they got so much flack about it, or they felt bad about it. They said, you know what? He hasn't wrestled in these matches yet. Maybe that's what we do. We switch this story to him winning it then, because I don't want to fire this guy. Did you not see that video? Maybe it's something like that.
Yeah. Well,
it's not Vince related. It's Hunter and Stephanie related, I would argue.
And that's what leads me thinking more along the lines of this being the case, because the way Triple H said in the interview on The Bump today, saying like, oh, he's a great performer and it was a tough decision, but he's going to make the most of this opportunity. It was just kind of like, I don't know. It does seem a little strange. But Matt, to your point, remember, wasn't it Dolph Ziggler that did this like a year and a half ago when his contract was coming up, put out like, I am taking indie bookings. Like he did everything you would do if you thought you were leaving the company, and it ended up being.
But there weren't a whole host of other talents that were just released during a coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did the same thing at TNA just randomly when I made people think my contract was up and I was going back to WWE. I was putting it everywhere, but I got taken off TV because I, at that time, was like in the 5th most matches of Impact history, which is way too much for a guy my size. A guy my size should not be on TV every single week wrestling. I just shouldn't be. I should be like not an attraction, but a step under an attraction, I would say.
Yeah.
That's how I'm booked me. And so once you see me, you've really seen me. You know what I mean? So they took me off TV for a few months, and people assumed I was going back to WWE. So I just started really peddling that hard on Twitter, and everybody bought it. And then I showed up at a house show in TNA and started jumping people over the guardrail, and they had footage of it. It looked good. It looked pretty legit. But the problem is nobody else was released with me.
Yeah.
Same with Dolph. That's what makes this very different, and why I do believe it's legit. And I do think he got his release. They're just thinking they're just coming back to it, going, you know what? Let's turn this to something good. We shouldn't have released him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want the best for him. I want him to be employed. I want to see him win. I mean, to me, I'm rooting for this guy anyhow. But yeah, I just think in the midst of everything else going on right now, it's, I don't know. It plays a little differently than it would, Matt, like you're saying, during a regular time when that's part of the standard playbook. Oh, I might be leaving the company. Anyhow, that being said, should we talk about AEW first tonight?
I thought we don't have to talk about it either because we talked about that. I'm being serious.
What, you don't want to talk about AEW?
Okay, let's talk about AEW.
Okay, let's talk about AEW a bit. So tonight we opened with Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin.
Which I could watch this match 10 years straight if I had to. Yes, this come on. You knew this was going to be incredible.
It was
really good match.
It was their best match of the night, I think, AEW's.
It usually is. Like the other one time I saw them work, I thought it was outrageous.
Yeah. So I think him advancing with Darby winning over Sammy, that surprised me a little bit. But it's Darby versus Cody. I'm sure will be great again in the next round.
This was the right booking. It was.
Yeah.
Sammy's good enough now. He's got enough steam on him where he can lose this and talk shit next week and whatnot. Get his heat back.
Yeah, Sammy's been in that inner circle standing next to Jericho, getting praised by Jericho nonstop. A lot more people know who Sammy Guevara is now. He's got a lot more credibility, so he can afford to get a loss. And Darby Allin, on the flip side, Darby Allin did a lot of losing in these first couple months.
Yes,
so now he can get something back.
Yes.
So quickly before we move on, Sumed B with the super chat says, Matt, what are your thoughts on the brother versus brother match for being the Elite 200?
I could hear Jim Cornette from here watching that, screaming out that they're exposing the business. I was entertained by it. Guys, it's not fair if you ask me Young Buck questions. I'm a huge Young Buck mark. I think everything they do is fun, either funny or entertaining or super good wrestling. One of those three things. So of course I liked it. I watch every BTE episode, so there wasn't like just one episode I just randomly watched. I watch every episode that they put out on YouTube. Since they've started. So I thought it was good. There was parts of it that were like, eh. In fact, one of the times, dude, one of the Nick Jackson took a freaking backdrop on the damn concrete floor. You can see like the dirt, the dust on the concrete like puff up as his body hit. I'm like, what are you guys doing taking these risks?
Yeah. Let's talk about the video package that opened the show with Cody. Man, Cody loves that logo, sitting in that chair, talking about why he needs this TNT championship. Good opening to the show.
Yes, and he does love that logo.
Yeah, the production, I don't feel like the production has suffered at all, really, with either show, but especially with AEW, I feel like they're making the best out of this situation. So what about this Broken Matt Hardy promo tonight? Talking about having invited Chris Jericho, but now inviting Sammy Guevara to the compound to do Jericho's dirty work. Do you like how they're using Matt?
I respect Matt doing all his things by staying true to himself, by staying home. That's what I take from all the things Matt's doing. He's entertaining. Don't get me wrong. But the human, I guess, side of me is watching it going, good for him for being this creative and being able to make all these videos from home. And you know what I mean? Like, there's something to be said for that. He could be breaking social distance or whatever you want to call it. He could be, a lot of these other wrestling companies, WWE, they were filming. Yeah, WWE's still filming right now for that matter. You got Matt, staying holding true to his word that he promised his family. He will follow CDC guidelines. And if he's got to do anything for this show, he'll be doing it from his home. So good for him. But entertainment-wise, it's Broken Matt Hardy. What's not to be entertained by?
Yeah, it's Broken Matt Hardy, a little Three Faces of Foley, a little Bray Wyatt Fiend action, getting Matt as Matt Hardy himself, and then getting the Broken Matt. And I met Matt, I think, in 2012. I mean, for the last day, he was rocking and rolling with YouTube and editing and production at his house then. I mean, Matt Hardy has been a pro wrestler in training for 8 years for quarantine. I mean, he better than any wrestler can handle this because he's got a warehouse of the wrestling ring. He's got he and his entire family got the production going, so he can shoot months of stuff creatively on his big piece of land that he's got and send it in. So I don't know where they're going. Because back to, as the Matt said, to the real person. The guy's got a wife and family there. I don't know if they are going to want people from the outside coming in and filming a match or what they're going to, I don't know, but they don't need to, because again, he could do all kinds of creative stuff just from the production and his creative range. But this was really fun to watch. I mean, anything with Matt really it's pretty much a home run.
So do you think he's going to wrestle at Double or Nothing with a pre-tape match?
What do you mean? When is it?
With Hardy? Well, it's a month from now. So I think they're going to have to find.
Yeah, they're not doing it in Vegas, obviously, because MGM canceled all events through May. But but the belief is they're going to do it somewhere in Florida, probably Daly's place, because Florida's obviously allowing it.
Right now, they could legally go to Bailey's and shoot right now.
Yeah.
So I think they'll have it there. And I think because he's doing everything legally, he's going to a place that you're allowed to perform in front of no fans. So yes. Yeah.
Although I tell you, the Hardy compound, I guess Jericho would have to quarantine
much cooler.
For a while.
I think it's much cooler to go to the Hardy compound.
Yeah. Matt, would you quarantine if you were an active wrestler right now? Would you go quarantine for 14 days to have a match against Matt Hardy at the Hardy compound?
Yes. I swear to God I would, because those matches are usually pretty damn good, and it's really well set up, super cinematic, high-end cinematic stuff. And with the opportunity, I'm not saying it would happen, but I had the opportunity to try to move that needle forward in how those matches are viewed. Yeah. And I had hopefully brainstormed some cool ideas with him and had some things that I'd like to do, not physically, but part of the cinematic part of this that I would be super stoked to even be part of. Hell yeah, I would. I would quarantine for 21 days.
Wow. And Jericho versus Hardy, at the Hardy compound, that could be no hyperbole. That could be match of the year.
I would love to see WWE missing the boat, because I keep going back to Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. Can you imagine? Because right now, just imagine if that was The Fiend and
Yeah.
Matt Hardy with this kind of limitless ability to do whatever the hell they want to do as far as, high-end cinematic quality type stuff goes. Like, oh my God, like the possibilities would be endless. And they had them. They had them both. They had them both on the same roster.
And they were just doing weird, creepy laughing. Like, that's,
What does that say?
I don't know.
Vince didn't understand it.
Justin, just to pick us up, what do you think Vince's reaction was when he saw the ultimate deletion or the final deletion? When he saw those matches?
Oh man, I don't know. Movies, huh? Let's get it on the WWE films. It could be the Marine 13.
All right, Justin, you do, just like, what do they say when a police arrests you? What do they say? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you can say or do can be used against you in a court of law. You do have the right to say, Glenn, go after yourself. I'm not in the mood right now. And I'm not your little, I'm not your little puppet.
You missed one of the funniest moments ever on this podcast was when we were talking with Nick Hausman back when Leo Rush was out there with Bobby Lashley. And remember, Leo had the earpiece in when he was out there saying that stuff. So Nick Hausman did a very shrill, high-pitched Leo Rush impression. And I said, Justin, what would Vince sound like saying all these lines into Leo's earpiece, telling Leo what to say? And ever since then, that's why I lean on Justin for this Vince impression. Do you remember? Justin, give Matt just a taste, a little bit. Just a taste, a little. Just a little.
I know it's nobody remember. It's too old. I'm shutting you down. It's too old.
There you go, Justin. There you go, Justin.
Statute of limitations. It's over a year old.
Everyone's happy. Oh man. Anyhow, yeah, you get a good impression, Matt. You're lucky you don't do impressions, or it'd be like all the time, Matt. Just break me off some of that.
But I still know what you're
okay.
But I still know what you're referencing, Glenn, because I still call Nick and leave him voicemails and do that at him.
Glenn is like my aunt, right? Like I'll be like at a family picnic and like she'll have like her coworkers. She would have like her coworkers show up, and it'll be like her coworker's relative that would show up, and it would be the coworker's relative's kid that would show up. Okay, so this is really down the friggin' train. Okay, really down the line. And my aunt would just friggin', completely whore me out there. Like, he's a professional wrestler. Don't you want his autograph? Here, take a picture. Take a picture. And like start like force feeding me down this kid. It was just like, well, I don't even watch wrestling. What? Down. That's what this reminds me of. Stop force feeding poor Justin's skills down people's throats.
But don't want to say, Matt, take your shirt off, do a pose down, take some bumps, run the ropes.
Yeah, same thing. It's the same thing.
Anyhow, Kenny Omega versus Alan Angels.
Who?
Too freaking long.
This was a long match.
This is where they don't understand how to protect themselves. They don't protect themselves, but understand who they are. Oh, I'm getting somebody else over. Dude, you're supposed to be a main event star, dude. And I'm sorry, but you would not see Roman or Cena or any of the other top talents that have become top talents and have stayed top talents. Not because, what do you want, to bury him? No, you don't have to bury him. But if that's the match, that's the story. That's what that kid understands going into that match. There's nothing bad about that. There's nothing wrong about that. That is how main event stars have got to be booked, though.
Yeah,
this.
So this dude that Kenny's fighting, I think we're obviously they're filming it at the wrestling school there in Georgia. This kid trained there, whatever. So
what?
Yeah, right. Very nice if you want to help the kid out. He's on TV. But here's the thing.
Right.
Yeah, Kenny Omega, you're supposed to be like one of the pillars of this company is built on. And yes. Jericho and Shivani on commentary are just blatantly making fun of how they don't even know the kid's name. They're calling him by different names. And yet there was, I think, 2 false finishes. There should be no...
Beat him. He can't beat him within 30 seconds. So they're jabroning him like that. What does that say? That Kenny can't end him right away. So next time Kenny's in a match with another main event star, and that match is about the same time distance, let's say, what does that say for that other person? You gotta think these things through. I get it. This can't be everybody. We get everybody over. Everybody gets over if your show is over. no matter what their segment is on your show. If they have 1 second of airtime, if your show's over, they'll get over. That's how this works.
Yeah, this was a very
attitude. I.e., look at the Attitude Era. That's why we always rave about the Attitude Era, is because everybody from the opening act on was stars, because that show was over.
Yeah, this was very disappointing decision making. I did not get this at all.
So Kenny Omega won that via pinfall. Oh, this vignette about Scorpio Sky. This was really good, talking about his journey to AEW.
I like this. Sorry, I was going to say Scorpio Star is a star. Scorpio, I'll get it one of these times. Scorpio Sky is he's a star. He is definitely a star. I think we all see that and say and think that. He needs to become a singles act by himself.
Yeah. So this was good. I mean, I think he's awesome. He's definitely the biggest star of the group of SCU. Orange Cassidy with Best Friends versus Jimmy Havoc tonight. Orange Cassidy getting a win.
Wait. Oh, okay. I thought you said 3 people versus 1. I was like, wait, that's not what I saw. What do you think of this, though?
I like Jimmy Havoc. I mean, these guys in a match.
Me too.
Is good.
I like him now too, by the way.
I like Orange Cassidy. I mean, anything with Orange Cassidy is instantly the most entertaining thing on TV at the time. I thought he was really good.
Are we at a point where are you bored of the shtick yet?
I actually kind of want him to lean harder into it, but what about you, Justin?
I like the shtick. I'm not really in favor of putting when I saw that he's gonna be in a match. I was he took a lot of heat. I mean, there was a lot of heat where he's just getting his ass beat. I don't know. I like the shtick, but I like to keep it to just like cameo spots and matches. I like him on the outside making cameos. I don't really like it when you put him in a match and then he's getting his ass beat for 80% of it. Granted, he got the win. He got like the sneak out win, but I don't know.
You don't think it means like it comes more out of nowhere though, because he's getting his ass kicked the whole match, and then out of left field, this dude's doing hurricane ranas and flying through the air out of nowhere?
When you say it, Matt, and when you put it on paper, that makes total sense. I didn't feel it tonight though. Like I was just kind of like, I don't know. I didn't feel it. I felt way more connected to him when he does the pop-ins, when he does a run-in to the match. That's just me.
I do think that's why showing how well he can wrestle and do a match is better saved. I mean, I think they could only do. I mean, Matt, talk about the ultimate gimmick. He could get away with doing that maybe twice a year, having like a real match,
right?
You know, and showing what he's got. So I don't know that this had to happen, but I mean, good. You know, more him on TV is better than not. So I'll take it. After the match, Havoc and Kip Sabian tried to beat up Orange Cassidy, but the Best Friends chased them off. Oh, MJF's thing, man. He was working this on social media, talking about the depressing times, how awful things are, and why he hasn't been wrestling. He was alluding to this injury and recovery, and he had a sling tonight, and because he has a severe hang now. So,
which is great.
There you go. How you feeling about MJF's shtick, Matt? Okay, so that's wearing on you a little bit.
No, I like his shtick. I didn't tonight. I didn't think it was great.
Yeah, and MJF now has this thing where no one's ever going to buy. And it's kind of like the Boy Who Cried Wolf thing. MJF will never be taken seriously. Like the worst thing possible could happen to him, and you think he was working you, telling you the story.
It's true, but yeah, he doesn't need it either. He's not going to do it a lot.
That's got to be a weird thing to carry around in life, to be known for that. Like, could you imagine, Matt, in the 90s, if you were the guy that played Joe Isuzu and you were trying to have a conversation with someone being honest, and they'd be like, you're Joe Isuzu. Like, your whole shtick is that you're a liar, that you're full of shit. I can't take you seriously.
Well, isn't it just like the same thing as what they portrayed with Kaufman? Kaufman ends up having cancer, and people are like, "Oh, you're not really dying, Andy. It's true. A prank, you know."
I think we're giving this way too much thought, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. Michael Brown with a $10 super chat saying, "What if Bray wrestled Braun as Bray and not the Fiend? Right before Bray is pinned, Bo comes out dressed as the Fiend, takes Braun out, symbolizes that they're two separate entities. Love it, book it."
Yeah.
Bray wrestled Braun.
So Bo's like the stunt double for the Fiend. I mean, we don't say that it's Bo. Bo might have to kind of hunch over a little bit, maybe put on a couple pounds.
Dude, this would be a spot of a lifetime for him. If it turns out this whole time the Fiend was really not Bray Wyatt, it was Bo. It was his brother.
Oh shit! I didn't even think about that. I was thinking this was like some stunt double shit, but holy crap,
dude! It would be insanity. People's heads would not. They would implode.
Have we seen Bray take off the mask though? We never have.
No.
Oh shit.
No.
Okay, mark it down here. April 22nd.
I called it.
April 22nd, 2020. Michael Brown, the day he blew our minds, and then Matt just to flip that. Wow. Let that sit in for a second. Before we talk about Lee Johnson versus Wardlow. Now this was quick. Yeah. This is what Kenny Omega versus
which it should be.
Been.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah, and Wardlow pulling out a new trick in his repertoire. That brutal spot. When he's holding with his hand, he's holding Lee Johnson's propped up in the corner. He's holding him up like he's going to choke slam him, and then he just drops him and just knees to the face. It looked brutal. Great spot. If you missed the match, go back and watch it. You know this is exactly what a squash match should be. You know, just power moves, short and sweet, 90 seconds.
Speaking of Vince impressions, tonight Brody Lee talking to a former football player. Oh, this was something. Asking him how tall he is, how much he weighs. So you sound like a hard worker. You haven't broken through, and having him join the Dark Order at the end.
Now, to be fair, this was Vince McMahon's very first conversation with me ever in life.
Really?
Was he walked into my chest, looked up, goes, "Holy, how tall are you, son? How old are you? What sports you playing?" And I told him about the NFL Combine I had coming up, and then got hooked up in the Tough Enough out of that.
Wow. So there's some truth to it. There you go. And then we had Justin Law versus Brody Lee, with Brody Lee getting a pretty easy win here.
I was popping. Even my wife, who doesn't really pay attention, went, "That's like almost verbatim what he said to you, Matt." and just popped huge. She's like, "That guy's awesome."
Yeah.
And this match was another squash match the way it should be. I don't know if Kenny and them were trying to be different, but why couldn't they just follow this formula?
With too many squash matches. No, it's not. It's not too many squash matches. And plus, a squash match with a smaller guy versus a smaller guy is very different than a big, mean SOB squash match versus a smaller guy. Very different.
Sure. Yeah. Brody Lee looking at Marco Stunt towards the end, setting something up between them. And then backstage, we had the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy talking about Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford. Trent and Taylor want Havoc and Sabian in a match. So next week, we're going to have Marco Stunt versus Brody Lee semifinal matches, and Moxley's going to cut a promo. And then we had the Bubbly Bunch tonight, where the Inner Circle doing the flim flam dance with the win, getting a small bottle of hand sanitizer.
I like the little note at the bottom of the screen, not affiliated with TikTok.
It was good, Matt. What do you think of stuff like this? I mean, this is like making the most of downtime, right?
Sure. It's all right.
Yeah. It's funny. I laughed.
Hey, Matt Morgan is not flim-flamming or TikToking.
I'll be on. Oh, my light went out. I swear, I didn't think it was funny. I don't know.
You're not going to do any TikTok challenges anytime soon, Matt?
Oh, I will, but I definitely did not pop for this. That's all.
I understand. Dustin Rhodes with Brandy Rhodes at ringside versus Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford. This was a TNT Championship tournament match. The stipulation was if Dustin Rhodes lost, this was it. Kind of telegraphed how this was going to end. But what'd you think of the match?
I thought this was good.
Yeah. But what do you think about these stakes, though? I mean, did you think for a second that this was going to be Dustin's last match?
No.
Yeah.
No. You do?
No. I mean, that would be at a pay-per-view, not on free TV.
Yes. I agree.
But it doesn't hurt to dangle it out. There's no harm in dangling it out there.
Oh, you're 100% right. I just don't buy it.
You should start throwing that down next time you negotiate with Raj, Justin. Be like, if you don't give me that third of the super chat money, tonight's my last Wrestling Inc. podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
And then Raj would be like, "Well,
yeah, and then he just lets me go, and then I try to pull a Drake Maverick. I get to have like X amount of podcasts to prove myself back.
Oh, good Lord. It's just tone deaf to the times we're in. Anyhow, Dustin's going to face Lance Archer in the next round of the tournament. But overall, this was a really watchable Dynamite tonight. Jericho and Tony Schiavone on commentary continue to be gold together. This was really good. I really liked it.
I'm not trying to disrespect any of the talents, but I'm sorry. Jericho on commentary for me is if you ask me what's the high points of this show, that's what makes the show so good. Chris Jericho is one nonstop high spot of the high point of the show. Like every match is good because he's talking about it.
That's what I get disappointed sometimes when I listen to his podcast, because I love Chris Jericho, the character, but Chris Jericho, the person, is not that all the time.
Well, he does. I'll say this about him though. He does a good job of making his guests feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he brings non-wrestling talents in, for instance, I listen to all of his podcasts usually. At least I did for a while. And he brings musicians in, people you normally wouldn't care about, but he does a decent job of getting who they are out there. So it's two different aesthetics, obviously. He's not going to be playing a shtick of character on his own podcast. You can say the same thing about Austin. You pissed that Austin isn't, stunning everybody on his episode?
That was, what was it, the MJF episode with Austin, where at the very end they went into kayfabe and started like trash talking each other?
That was great. That's why I really fell in love with MJF. Then, because I went to his YouTube and I saw that old video of him, of how he came up, and it was supposed to be like his documentary. And it was it was so well done. And I was like, this dude goes to hell and back to protect his kayfabe. I love it. I love it.
That documentary, they got to, like, TNT should give money to do like just clean that up or reshoot some of it, but that could be like a half-hour special. Like the story behind MJF, the twist in that was so goddamn funny.
Wasn't it?
It was so good. That's one of my favorite things I've seen in the last year, easily.
He was in a stranger's house. Wasn't that what it came down to? Like, that was his house?
Yeah. It was good. Robert Bills with the super. What's that?
Can I just say something? If you're WWE, you had to have seen that. And if you had to have seen that, how do you not sign the guy that did the video?
Yeah.
And say, come work for us. You're talented with a freaking handheld, and you came up with these ideas. Because the guy who shot it, I have a feeling, because he does other documentaries, does a good job too. I would have signed him.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was very well done. Robert Bills, $1.99. Wardlow just needs some new gear and he's set.
Why? It shows off like the physique.
What? They don't like the RVD gimmick? The RVD singlet?
I guess so.
I mean, it shows off his body. I don't know what you want.
Because he should be in trunks. He's got a big upper body. He shouldn't be hiding. You want to see if he's got abs and shit. You want to see how big he is. I see why a guy's saying that. Usually when somebody wears a singlet, shorts singlets like that, it's not a giant that wears that. Think about it. I believe Sid wore it for like a minute at some stop in his career. Never WWF or WCW.
Yeah, it's Sid Vicious. It's Sid Vicious in the early 90s. Yeah, he had a black one.
There you go. For like a minute. But it takes away from his length, is what I'm saying. In my opinion, my 2 cents.
Matt Purvis, $5. Why was the atomic drop never considered an illegal move? Also, what is one move you wish current wrestlers would bring back for him to see abdominal stretch?
Okay, because the atomic drop is you're not hitting your nuts with the atomic drop. You're being hit on your tailbone, your butt bone. That's why everybody grabs their butt or their tailbone when they sell it and do that stupid little dance across the ring selling it.
Yeah. What move, Matt?
What was the other one?
If you could bring back an illegal move or current wrestlers, like an old move they'd bring back, they don't do.
I don't know about illegal. I don't want to put any thought into it. I'd just say the sleeper hold should come back. I like the sleeper.
Stand by that.
You could, as a little kid, I pulled that off in a real fight once.
Really?
I'm being dead serious.
Wait, you
Yes, I
actually
did.
like put somebody to sleep in a real fight?
I ended up choking him out, and everybody came and like pulled me off him.
Oh shit!
Guy, let me tell you, this kid was like 3 years older, and he had it coming.
Damn. That's like the stuff of urban legend. Like people must have spoken. You must have been known like throughout the county. It was like, don't mess with that Matt Morgan guy. He put a guy to sleep once, choked him out.
I will make it worse for you. Okay, this guy was trying to. He was a bully. His name was. I'm not gonna say his last name. His first name was Jason. I'll say that. All right. So Jason, blah blah blah. What was he? He was in 8th grade, and we were in 6th grade. There was a very big disparity between him and everybody else. This dude like had a mustache, you know. The rest of us were still prepubescent. I was just super tall. That was about it. Anyways, I remember to try to show him like I wasn't scared of him. What he's got to look forward to at 3 p.m. with me, because that's what was supposed to happen. We're supposed to have a fight at The Path. That's what this place was called. It was called The Path.
Love that.
At Fairfield Woods Middle School. All right, this is all legit. And I think, because I'm such a wrestling nerd, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I showed up to school with my Jake the Snake Roberts, action figure, and my Brutus the Barber Beefcake wrestling figure. And I took them like everywhere with me, every class. And if I ran into them in the hallway, I was going to show them like either the DDT or a sleeper hold. Take your pick. I swear to God. And I'd say it smoothly like that at all, but that was the intent. And all my friends were like, oh, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be great. Because, again, wrestling was king at the time. And sure enough, fight breaks down. This guy starts freaking swinging. I still, just know punching with my brother and how to take hits and stuff. That's about it. So I take a couple of his punches and then finally get into him and then knock him on the ground. And then I just jump on his back and just and lock that thing in.
Damn.
And then lock it in. We're on the ground. He's on top of me with like this. And then that was it. He started to make this weird. I don't want to make this sound worse than it is, obviously, but he started making a weird noise. And then all the kids came out and they broke it up then. But walked out.
Wow. It's like a 3 o'clock high situation.
There's multiples of those. Oh my God. In high school, there's so many of those. So many. Dude, it was bad. Like our school was awesome, but there was a lot of like this place you can go to and have these fights because it was technically off school. The Path was off school campus, technically. It was only a block or two away.
It was always it was not like it was always The Path. For us, it was like the bike racks. I'll meet you at the bike racks at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Path, though, for sure. It was called The Path.
I had no idea.
So really quick, the moral of the story is I went with Brutus the Barber Beefcake, obviously. That's what he got.
I had no idea such shenanigans were happening in Fairfield County, Connecticut. It was crazy.
You would think not, but like, dude, fighting there was a lot of it. So much of it, but they always would be broken up. No. I will say that.
Justin, you ever see the movie 3 O'Clock High?
No.
Yes.
Super slept on. One of the best 80s teen films nobody talks about.
And every kid knows that. Even me, the kid would just say he had that kind of a situation. Like every kid knows sweating that feeling.
Yeah.
Oh God, this guy wants to fight. This sucks. You know what I mean? Your whole day is ruined.
Yes.
And you're really sweating it.
Robert Bill saying The Path, the next AEW pay-per-view, Matt, I'm surprised you went to college. I'm surprised you didn't get yourself in like a real life blood sport situation, go to Asia, put like a Frank Dukes, start getting, and some mixed martial arts fights.
You apparently didn't read the Best of the Badass issue of Playboy magazine when I was with TNA. I think it was 2009. They did a story about what happened with my story when I was in college.
Really?
I was done. I had no more NCAA, eligibility left.
Yeah.
But I had to go back for my super senior year because I lost credits from transferring from Monmouth to Chaminade. So I'm bouncing at a strip club in the summer times, Deja Vu Strip Club in Waikiki Beach. And I was like my third week there on shift. And the owner, whatever the hell, his manager, my boss, all right, brings me into the kitchen. He's like, hey, Matt, these guys wanted to talk to you. They've been staring at you all night. I was like, I don't know what to think of that. So in walks these guys like all wearing suits, super professional looking, not like intimidating, but just like super rich. And they're like, hey kid, you want to make some money? I'm like, sure. That's what I'm doing here. And they're like, have you ever fought before? I'm like, well, yeah, everybody has, I'm sure, at some point or another. Like, no, like professionally or anything like that. I'm like, no. Like, do you have any training? I'm like, no. They're like, well, you're huge. Would you want to do this? And I'm like, sure. I don't know what I'm getting myself into. They just told me how much they'd pay me. So, long story short, they say meet us back here next weekend, I think it was. So I don't know what to expect. So I show back up. Go back to Deja Vu. It wasn't open because it was during the daytime, and I meet them out front. I'm supposed to be meeting them out front, and a freaking limo comes up, dude. I'm not joking. I'm not making this up. You all can look this up in Playboy magazines. It's called Best of the Badass, and your boy here was number 1 in that issue because of the story. So, anyways, I get taken away in this limo, no joke, with double-sided tints. I can't see out. So now I'm going, oh boy, what am I getting myself into here? Because I'm in Hawaii. I don't really know what could be happening. Is somebody mad at me? I'm dating a local girl, because a lot of times they're not, they weren't necessarily always cool with that sometimes. I don't know what to expect. So I finally, should I be counting? What should I be doing? There's no cell phones at this time, by the way. So I'm nervous. So I eventually the car stops. I'm still sitting in there while the car's parked for like a good 5 minutes. But you could hear people like cheering and making all this crazy noises. Finally the door opens and I see all these dudes that look just like I saw in that kitchen that night. All these like city slicker dudes look with all these suits on, maybe like 50 of them. All right. And they're all like hundreds in their hands and dollars in their like money and cash in their hands, you could see. And they're placing bets. Dude, this is legit a fight, like of just people of different backgrounds. Yeah. I still don't know this yet. So I'm like, oh crap. So I see all these people, these so-called spectators wearing these suits, staring at me from inside the car as the door opens. So I'm like, I better make like, oh shit, I'm about to fight. Obviously, this is what they bring me here to do. So I slowly step out of the car, as slow as I could, and go into total wrestling mode. That's why I knew I was always destined to wrestle, for real. There's another example of it. So I get out really slow and like unfolding myself as slow as possible, so that I keep standing up and I get taller and taller and bigger. And I'm 340 pounds at least at this point. I'm my biggest. I'm a monster here, much bigger than I was when I was a wrestler. All right, I had to cut down to become a wrestler. Keep that in mind. All right, and I've been up to 382 pounds in my career before my wrestling career. So anyway, so I'm a monster at this point. So I'm unfolding all that slowly on purpose, because I know I'm about to fight. And I'm like, all I got right now is intimidation factor, because I don't even know who the hell I'm fighting. Next thing I know, it's me versus one of the local guys I've never seen before, and big 300-pound Samoan guy, and so. Ding ding. I'm in the middle of this and we have to start fighting each other. And I don't know any of the rules. I don't know anything. So I'm mounting on this guy. I'm mounted and I'm striking. Bah, 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 bah. He's not knocking out. He's not going to sleep. This dude's just taking it. All right. Now he's a bloody pulp. Okay. But he's not, it's not finishing. Okay. Next thing I know, I feel this huge, like, stream of heat coming out of like my temple. Dude took a rock off the ground and hit me in the side of the temple with it.
Shit.
And I'm like, what the? So anyway, so I lose it, and I end the fight. And but like afterwards, when I'm leaving, I'm like, guys, you didn't tell me any rules. You didn't tell me anything goes. And that's what this gimmick was. It was, if you could find anything down on the ground to hit one another with, you could.
Jesus.
This is all documented. Feel anybody look it up? Playboy, or no, I'm sorry, Penthouse Magazine, Best of the Badass edition. Look that up. It's all legit. And I was able to do this because I was no longer an NCAA student. So therefore I was allowed to be paid to do something like that. Because when you're an NCAA student, you weren't allowed to have jobs at the time unless in the summers. That was about it.
Wow. Well, that crazy, took a turn I wasn't expecting. Yeah, Jesus, man. You need to write a book, dude. Like this. You should just be...
I did it 3 times.
Wow. Well, that is something. Now NXT feels like a letdown.
Whenever I'm just one of many. So when everyone says like wrestlers can't fight, please. Some could.
I've been to Waikiki 3 times. It was never that violent.
That didn't happen?
No.
That didn't happen? So the moral of the story of what was happening is all those people were there gambling on this. They're gambling on who was going to win. This 7-foot monster guy that no one's ever seen, or the 300-pound Monster Local, the small guy, that friggin' good lord, he was a good fighter.
I'm just like picturing like Django Unchained, like Mandingo fighting. Like, this is insane.
Dude, try being in the back of a limo that's double-sided tents and going, what did I get myself into? I'm never going to see Larissa again. I remember being really nervous about this.
Wow.
Well, NXT is not going to be that interesting. And NXT was all right tonight, but Jesus, Matt, you really just mic dropped with that story. What do we got to talk about? Oh, Velveteen Dream. Finn Balor got attacked backstage. So Velveteen Dream came out, and then Undisputed Era came out. They disavowed any involvement with Finn Balor. Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong attacked Velveteen Dream. That set up the main event for tonight. Keith Lee came out, made the save. Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Matt, this was a good match.
I hate that name. I hate that name. I hate that name.
Which one?
Shotzi. I don't like Shotzi's name.
She's been going by that forever. I know her. The guy that was one of my best friends who I was in a band with, who was the best man at my wedding, has been doing a horror movie podcast with her for like years. So I've known about her forever. That's why I'm such a mark for her. But yeah, she's been using that name. I don't think that's her last name or her real last name, but she's been using Shotzi Blackheart for quite some time now. It's good they're letting her use it in WWE.
Yeah.
But anyhow, Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai.
All right. It was good.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm liking Raquel Gonzalez.
This was good. I do too, but I really like Tegan Nox. Now I like her more. I still don't get why they did like a 35-part story on her. Why is this like stone?
Nope.
My phone's about to.
Nope.
Matt said too much about what went down in Hawaii.
That's
Jesus
wild.
Christ, Justin. Like,
you never told me a story like that.
It's just like Christ. People go back, watch and pay attention to the look on Justin and my faces when Matt busts out with that story of just like, this is not what we were expecting, just wrapped with attention. That escalated quickly.
It's like Ron Burgundy and the news crew after they just had the back alley brawl with all the other news teams. Wow, that escalated quickly. I killed a man. I saw that break. You should probably lay low.
Just thinking like this is going to get subpoenaed, like somehow
right.
Reopen a case.
No. Raj is definitely giving us some super chat money if this has to go in front of a court or something. You know, if this is evidence exhibit C, then we're definitely getting something. We'll be calling your Red Hot Chili Peppers lawyer. That's what we'll be doing.
So someone in my band, not me, when we signed the deal with them, and was like, wait, so we give you 3%, and if I get like arrested drunk driving or accused of murder, you'll represent me? It was like, no, you idiot, I'm your music business attorney. I'm your contract lawyer. I'm not gonna come Johnny Cochran for your ass if you get in trouble with the law. Yeah. There are different areas of practice. Anyhow, hopefully Matt will be back. Dion's saying the guys in the suits just shut down his feed. Rondo Gonzalez, Kumite, the Matt Morgan story.
It's the guys that have been kidnapping people in the parking lot of Full Sail. You know, they tried to get Phantasmo. They've gotten Joaquin Wild. Those are the guys that are pulling up and taking Matt Morgan. They're taking him to this cockfighting ring.
Man, dude, like similar to the Ciampa Gargano thing. Actually, dude, I don't know how NXT would pull that off, but if there was like some unsanctioned WWE fights at a different location, I mean, I'm telling you, man, now that Lucha Underground's off the air, like just lean into it. Let's do some really different stuff. That's the stuff that people pop for.
Yeah, WWE's version of Fight Club.
Yeah, seriously.
So I've seen that movie.
Well, everyone's
a reference.
Fight Club.
Everybody's seen Joe's.
Everybody's
of
a certain age. Jaws more than the Goonies. Like Goonies, see the reason with Goonies with Raj is because he's the exact right age. Like that movie was made for people that were 9 and 10 years old when Raj and Matt and I were 9 and 10 years old. Yeah, it's like Space Jam when you were a kid. Like you've seen Space Jam, right? Or Jumanji.
Yes. I've seen Space Jam. Yeah.
Yeah, but you were the right age for those movies when they came out. You were the target audience.
True.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
Ruckus 780 saying I'm looking like the poor man's Kevin Owens.
Yeah, with that hair.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Can you speak French?
You know what's funny, dude? I took French and Spanish in junior high and high school, and I don't remember any of it. I think, I can ask where the library is. That's about as good as it gets.
I can do bonjour, je m'appelle Justin.
Well, there you go. You can introduce yourself. Anyhow, so after Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai won that match, we saw that video of Drake Maverick. See, why don't they just have a fight club where people can get their spot back on the roster? You were like, "Oh, let's have a tournament."
They kind of
talents.
One of the gimmicks was so intriguing that didn't last very long, and it actually was the predecessor to the best gimmick he had. Was before Wade Barrett did the Bad News Barrett gimmick. When they brought him back from one of his injuries, it was the bare knuckle brawler, and they showed the vignettes of him, and I was like, this could be a hard thing to protect. It's kind of like a brawl for all thing. It's a hard thing to protect in a pro wrestling world, but damn, he looked and made the part interesting, but it just obviously didn't last.
So we had Drake Maverick versus Jake Atlas tonight. That being said, okay, take away all the speculation is what's real and what's not. This was a really good match, and I think Drake looked good, but I have to say Atlas looked fantastic, especially with that cartwheel DDT at the end.
Yeah, that was I always pop for things that I'm certainly not the person to say that like I watch every wrestler around the world. So I know as soon as I say I've never seen that, somebody's going to say it was done in Tokyo and whatever year, whatever match. But that was really impressive. And yeah, I started Googling Jake Atlas to try to get the background on him. And he very much impressed me in a match where we're focused on Drake, given the circumstances we've touched on. Jake Atlas had me grab my phone, Googling him, trying to find out more.
I saw him twice last summer, including in a match against Jungle Boy in South San Francisco. Yeah. And I mean, he's great. I own a Jake Atlas t-shirt. I think he's a star. I'm actually surprised because he is so different than the usual WWE or even NXT recruit as of late. Was surprised he got signed, but I'm very glad for him. And I think tonight he got over in a major way. He looked fantastic. We'll see what happens with Drake, but yeah, thought Jake had a really, really good showing tonight. And I highly recommend watching this match, especially that DDT at the end.
Yeah, that DDT was fire.
We got a video package of the feud between Damian Priest and Keith Lee. It was good, a good package. And then we had Kishida versus Tony Nese in the Cruiserweight tournament with Kishida picking up a win. I mean, they let these guys just really go for it tonight.
Yeah, it did not feel like a micromanage NXT. It felt like a very much just kind of, here it is, here's your time, here's what's going over. Surprise us. That was kind of feeling to it. It did not have a micromanaged WWE feel to it. NXT definitely had the better bell-to-bell action versus AEW. But as we'll get to, I ended up letting myself down. NXT let me down, but maybe I did it in my own head.
NXT let you down? In
a small way, but maybe I did it to myself. But continue.
Did you fantasy book yourself into a corner?
Well, so we didn't touch on this, but they started NXT by doing like the recap of where all the major stories are.
Yeah.
And then they recap us with the very good little small debut of Killer Cross and what we assume is Scarlett with attacking Ciampa. And then we start off with Finn's, there's been something backstage and Finn's not going to be able to compete. Like, so it really just, they started that great chaotic, like, who done it? Who's the mystery attacker? What's going on? You got to stay tuned till the very last second of the show. So maybe I just did it in my head, but I just figured you're coming off what you did last week. I'm figuring we're going to get some glimpse of another attack from Killer Cross, or at least some new words and a new promo, or what's going on with Finn. And granted, that whole thing with Finn might have been because Finn's overseas, but that's the thing with NXT. In my head, I kind of disappointed it because I built up what I thought I was going to see.
Welcome back, Matt Morgan.
Sorry, my battery died.
We thought the men in the limo cut your feed because you said too much.
We did.
I will say NXT, it's kind of become a running joke now how bad their security is. I mean, back since Hideo Itami got attacked in the parking lot before that takeover many years ago. I mean, so Finn, I didn't think we were going to get a payoff to that tonight because it just seems like, I don't think they've even paid off a lot of the last attacks. It just kind of left it to your imagination as to who the culprit was.
Yes.
Yeah. So, just to go back for a second, what'd you think of Jake Atlas's cartwheel DDT he did in that match with Spud at the end, or with Drake at the end?
Wild.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought that was crazy athletic.
Yeah,
Matt,
he's great.
Matt, I just said to Glenn, I'm sure somebody will correct me and say that it was done in this match in Tokyo or whatever, but I've never seen that before. I've never seen that spot.
Personally, I haven't either. And yes, I'm sure it's been done in a video game. I'm sure it's been done by friggin' somebody, like you said, in Japan, GDT Pro Wrestling or something. Look, if it ain't done on national television, it don't count. That's what I was told when I first started my career.
So we had that Timothy Thatcher promo with Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle looks like he's still celebrating 420 tonight on NXT. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not as good as with Pete Dunne. But what did you think of his chemistry with Timothy Thatcher tonight in that promo?
That's what I keep thinking. It's not as good as Tim Dunne, or Dunne, rather.
Yeah.
That's all I keep thinking when I watch it.
So next week, they're going to have something going on. Karrion Kross and his mystery lady friend tonight. We saw flashes of their attack against Tommaso Ciampa. Now, they did confirm this was Scarlett. They didn't say Scarlett Bordeaux, just Scarlett, but Karrion Kross, as was pointed out last week. So what do you think of this promo and this build, Matt?
Good. Very good. Well done.
Yes. Justin, how you feeling about Karrion Kross?
Well, I'm excited for the duo. Like I said, in my mind, I built up that they would be a bigger part of tonight's episode, given the attack on Ciampa last week. So I kind of was really amped up for NXT this week, thinking I was going to get more than what I did. So maybe I did it to myself.
Like he thought, like same with me. I thought like we'd get like the lights would go out, music would hit. He and her would be in the ring for cutting an in-ring promo or something big like that.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Well, this was a pleasant surprise that we had dinner with Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae tonight. Talking about NXT, talking about all they've given to NXT, and they're going to be the first married couple to reign over NXT as the NXT champion and NXT women's champion. Candice with a new hairstyle, Johnny even more with this attitude. Matt, I know you're not the biggest Johnny Gargano fan, but what did you think of this tonight?
Man, as Raj would say, it was there. It was all right. I don't care one way or the other, if I'm being honest.
I could see them with Kross and Scarlett. I mean, that seems like that's going to be the feud. That's where it's going to go.
Yes, but won't that be baby? I mean, won't that be heel?
Well, yes, but I think though, because honestly, I think it's going to be used for Kross and Scarlett to go over and get the win. So I don't think it matters if there's no babyface in the match. I think it's going to be, badass versus batterass.
Yeah, you're also in front of no crowd. But I do think even if they're in front of a crowd, I think.
Good point.
Johnny and Candice have made themselves these devilish heels. There's a certain cool factor to Kross and Scarlett being the new people coming in with hype. So I think if it's certainly not a white, certainly not a what's the white bread. White meat baby face.
White meat baby face.
Thank you. It's not a white meat baby face versus a traditional heel. It's two entities that are both got like a heel aspect. But I think you don't have any crowd there, so you can kind of bend the rules. And I think if you had to pick who's on what side, I think you have the Kross and Scarlett being the new.
It won't matter without fans there to boo or cheer. It doesn't matter. Actually, it's a great call. They could get away with this.
So we had Jessie Camilla versus Mia Yim tonight. This was a little bit of a match, but with Mia Yim picking up a win.
Good.
And then
this
after
Mia, go ahead, continue.
Oh, I was gonna say, well, yeah, it was great for Mia, but what was even better was Charlotte Flair coming out. Charlotte giving her the backhanded compliment, talking about their history, the first match they had together, and now she's going to give Mia this chance. I mean, what did you think of not just the match, but the promo, Matt?
This was good. Mia Yim, this is the level she should be at.
Yeah, I'm a big Mia Yim fan.
I think this will be good. And I like that they're not rushing what's happening with Io Shirai and Charlotte too fast. So we're going to get this before. So after that, vignette of Robert Stone with Chelsea Green.
Loved it.
Funny.
Yeah, This was good. They keep building it up. And then we had another cruiserweight title tournament match, Jack Gallagher versus Phantasma tonight.
Cool. See Jack Gallagher.
Yeah, looking really different than my mental picture of him was.
I was a big fan of his. I loved his work, actually. I thought he was very different, had his own character, looked different than everybody else. I'm always a fan of that. If you have somebody that looks different than the rest of them and wrestles different on top of it, shoot, usually sky's the limit. That dude was good when he was first called up. I don't know what they did with him to cool him off like that, to the point where I forgot all about him until tonight.
Yeah, he's got the added tattoo, so he's starting to darken or edge up his look. But yeah, this was a good match. But yeah, Gentleman Jack with the gritty edge. I like it.
We saw after the match footage that happened earlier in the week where some people tried to kidnap Phantasma the same way that Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde had been abducted, but Phantasma fought them off. So there was that. And then we had the main event, which was the Velveteen Dream and Keith Lee versus the Undisputed Era.
This was good. This really was good. I thought this was excellent.
Yeah, they did a lot of things to make it a big deal that Velveteen Dream, he doesn't have Finn, and then he's got Keith Lee, but then now Keith doesn't have Keith Lee, so he's in a
Dexter
handicap
Lumis.
situation. Yeah, you get Dexter. I mean, and then Dream ends up pinning Adam Cole. So, I mean, the business was accomplished. But again, I will say, as I said earlier, and watching this in real time, I don't know. I was thinking some other ending was going to happen. But nonetheless, looking at it for just what it was, what they gave us, this is fine. Dream they're getting back on the Dream train as they should be and lining him up for where he needs to go.
And him and Dexter Lumis, that's a pairing I never thought I would see.
Yeah.
Jim Cinto Gomez, $4.99, saying, no pile drivers are a no-no in WWE, but Phantasma, King Cuerno's former pile driver finisher, was cool as hell. Probably never seen before in WWE.
He couldn't wait to say that. He could not wait to say, but Phantasma / King, thanks for taking it off, Glenn.
Sorry.
King Cuerno's. He couldn't wait to say that. He was so excited to say that.
Matt just
it means he watches more wrestling than the rest of us. He knows about the inside wrestling shows that we don't know about. We just watch mainstream wrestling.
So if you want to get roasted by Matt Morgan, toss some money at the super chats while we're doing.
That'll show you guys. Eat that, Raj. Suck on that, Raj. I'm gonna ruin all your super chats.
Raj Gary just keeps diving into the super chat money, Scrooge McDuck style. Yeah. So both shows were good tonight. I mean, the Drake thing still kind of, I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah, both the shows were good.
If you wanted better bell-to-bell wrestling, watch NXT. If you wanted more features on characters, watch AEW.
I thought AEW show was better. I personally did. I didn't. Again, they're side by side. I have them both now set up. I think I told you guys this about a month or so ago, maybe a month and a half ago. I set it up with a screen by screen, and I'm telling you, AEW holds my attention more. I've got to really pay attention to NXT to make sure I'm not missing anything, and I've got to train myself to do it and then I get pissed that I miss something on AEW because I'm doing it.
Yeah,
so AEW always wins for me, always.
I always have one on the TV and then one on my iPad with one AirPod in. So I've got one ear on one and one ear on the other. And I just switch back and forth depending on.
Crap. Wow.
Well, Glenn, let me ask you. So the last 2 weeks, NXT has beat AEW. Each week, the margin has been a little bit wider. Does NXT beat AEW again this week?
I think this Drake thing, and again, whether it was planned or not, I think this Drake thing is going to get some eyeballs. And I think the Cross Scarlet thing, I could see them pulling out a third straight win this week. But I don't know if the margin's going to be that much wider.
I do agree with that. I think they'll have more eyeballs on them because what was really built up for AEW this week?
Yeah, the main event was Dustin versus Sabian for that in the finals, and which
no,
or not the finals, but the main event to go who goes to semifinals.
Yeah. Quickly before we wrap, do we have any news stories to hit?
One story. We'll do one real quick. Obviously, for you sports fans, Rob Gronkowski coming out of football retirement. He's going to go to the Tampa Bay Bucks. And it should also be noted, Rob Gronkowski is still your WWE 24/7 champion. So all kinds of jokes are flying across social media about this. WWE has officially put out a statement, put out a tweet. So they are acknowledging and kind of leaning into the fun of this, which is they said, congratulations to Rob Gronkowski, the current WWE 24/7 champion on his return to football. Per the rules of the 24/7 title, Gronk must defend his championship at all times at any location. He could celebrate a touchdown pass from Tom Brady, and they tagged Tom in it, anytime, anywhere. So WWE even noting that they could have some fun.
They wrote that?
They did, having some fun with
That's
this.
so smart. Very smart.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, but I would throw as much money as Tom Brady as humanly possible to get him to go along with this and just quickly pin him.
Yeah, and think about this. You know, WWE and AEW, but WWE they're in this closed set situation, and we've noted over the weeks there's things they've been able to pull off when you're in a closed set situation where you can tape and edit things you can't do in front of a live crowd.
Right.
More than likely, if the NFL plays, and let's hope they do, if the NFL plays, it's probably going to be in an empty stadium situation, more than likely. And so if that happens, you now have a close
hour and a half away. That's it.
Right. You have a closed set situation. What's to stop R-Truth from in a post-game show trying to roll up and schoolboy Rob Gronkowski and on a game that's aired on Fox? The possibilities are there now.
I would throw as much, again, I would get Tom, somehow, I know he won't do it, but I would do whatever it took to get Tom Brady to do it and pay him whatever the hell he wants to roll him up, like pre-game warm-ups or something where it's safe. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to get hurt. No injuries could happen. But still, they have footage of Tom Brady doing this.
And
their championship.
And a WWE ref who was dressed to look like an NFL ref comes out of nowhere and just counts the three.
Dude, you could set that up so many ways. You could have somebody in uniform. You could have somebody pretending they're on the Bucks.
Yeah.
And it's really the ref.
Right. It's and there's no better team for Gronkowski to go to. He's staying if he needs to be in Florida to film stuff at the PC.
It doesn't change. It won't change anything. I don't think it will change anything.
That's great.
Except the Bucks, I could see saying something like, "Hey, you gotta it's like the motorcycle clause, right? Like you can't sign a contract, and part of your deal is you can't go buy a motorcycle." With a lot of these pro athletes out there, some of them it's in their deals. I could see the Bucks saying, "All right, listen, we get this whole little cute WWE shtick you're doing, but I'm paying you a lot of money, so you're not gonna be playing it. You're not gonna be an every down tight end. We're gonna look for you in the red zone." But we're not taking any chances because you got hurt a ton at the end. That's why he had to retire. His body broke down. As good as he looks, his body did break down at the end of his New England run. That's why he had to retire. They're going to use him as red zone threats, and it's going to open up so much to what the dudes. There's like 3 dudes' names there that are going to eat mega touchdowns because of this. They're the wide receiver and their other tight end actually.
Evans and.
Evans, or what's the other one? O'Malley.
They have OJ Howard, who I imagine is going to be gone now, though.
I'm sorry. Why? I think he'll be there. No,
you think they'll keep?
Yes. I still think he'll be I'm being serious. I think he'll be the every down, more or less, and I think Gronk will be that red zone threat. Or they line up too.
Yeah. Yeah, and Gronk, I mean, just not to make this football, Gronk's an amazing dude. Gronk actually transferred in the middle of his high school career here into the Pittsburgh area, and like I said, I run a high school sports network. Gronk played briefly here in Pittsburgh in high school, man. And this dude, you got to watch him in person to believe it, especially when he's at that age, when he's at age 18 playing with other 16, 17, 18-year-olds. It was just unfair seeing him in person.
Well, so is he still going to do stuff with the WWE? How are they going to balance this?
Well, I mean, WWE still has them. But Matt's right. There's probably going to be. Also, keep in mind when WWE was eyeing to have Gronk do something this year in 2020, there was a big eye on SummerSlam's in Boston. There was a big potential there. Now, is SummerSlam going to happen in Boston? If they did, now Gronk's a heel in Boston. He's not a babyface. So, I mean, I think this brings a whole new dynamic of how they can use him. That if safely, they can use him in some fun crossovers. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in the NFC. The NFC is predominantly aired on Fox, and the AFC is predominantly aired on CBS. Fox obviously is a partner now with WWE, so there's a huge opening to do some stuff here.
There you have it. We will see what happens. anything else we didn't cover tonight? Or I think we got just quick super chats. I'll save that one. John Good just pointing out Justin said that if he lost, he would retire. We mentioned that earlier. That's why. But I don't think that drew people into that. I think everyone knew that this was not going to be Dustin's last match. But Sumed B wants to know, Matt, if you had to choose one person most crucial in your wrestling career to induct you into the Hall of Fame, who would it be?
Can we talk about how many he just gave? How much does that say?
Oh, that's like 100 rupees.
Ruby?
How much of that?
Rupees?
How much of that goes to me? Let me see here.
100.
Choose two.
As if I'm getting my symbols right.
Career to induct you to the Hall of Fame. Who would it be?
It's not that much money, Matt. If I'm correct on what the currency is.
$1.31.
Yes.
Because I ain't going into it. I never thought of it. But let me think though. Who would it be if I had to? Kurt Angle, maybe. Maybe. Also,
yeah, Kurt would be good. I mean, more the connection. I know Hogan was someone you looked up to longer.
You know what? Yeah, Hogan. There you go. Thank you.
Yes. Well, there you have it, folks. We're going to be back here on Friday night to talk about SmackDown. Me, Matt Morgan, Justin LaBar. And it'll be here before you know it because time has no meaning anymore. We're just living in this surreal landscape. It just flies, but it flies by faster. That's the weirder part. Like they say, time goes by quicker when you're older. Time goes by really fast when you're
yes,
at
it
home.
Does.
Really fast.
Yes, it does.
So Matt, you want to plug the Up Live thing? You good? You got anything?
I'm good. I got too many people. I'm good.
Too many people. Good problem. Champagne problems. On that note, we'll get you back here Friday. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane. We'll see you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast.